Oh, snap. What's up, y'all? Welcome. So, snap. Hey, I'll be shooting YouTube videos, right? And not that my videos should be more popular, but I just really think that I be sharing relatable truths when I speak a lot of these videos. Actually, the majority of things that I say, I think most of us already thought about and decided that we ain't want to go with it because it's not the most popular thing, right? But this video is about why people overtalk and yell at you. Because that's been a reoccurring thing throughout my life. Family members, other friends, and then if folks don't be yelling at you, they try to upset you. And I had sat back and thought about it. When you get into a conflict with somebody else, your pride makes you want to win. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who generally just want to see other people upset. I'm talking about that kind of wickedness and that evil. But in this video, I'm talking about why people yell over you and talk over you, or they yell at you. A lot of places I go, people be yelling at me and talking to me crazy, and I have to address. I have to tell people, like, listen, don't talk to me like that. I tell people to watch their mouth. And I tell people, look, I don't want to talk to you. You got to address folks because you're not supposed to address every single issue that swings your way, because then that's just too much conflict for you to live a peaceful and or happy life. But folks coming at you sideways and crazy, you got to address it early on. Because if you don't address it early on, after like the second time, by the time you try to just address on the third, fourth, fifth time, it don't matter. So reasons why people talk over you and yell at you. First is because they're afraid of what you have to say. Now, if you're an honest person, because honesty is just really saying what's real. Honesty comes from the inside. It starts on the inside, and then it comes out, right? So a lot of folks might be afraid of what you have to say, so they talk over you or they start yelling at you. And another thing that people do when they're afraid of what you have to say, they try to go to the personal route real fast. I mean, they try to insult you, call you out your name. I had people, they'd get loud with me and they'd be so ready to call me out my name or say something crooked or sideways that it'd be like, man, people would say things expecting you to react. I'd be like, look, first off, if you're gonna insult me, it has to bear some sort of truth, you know? Like folks just up and call you something crazy, like people call you ugly or something like that. But if you're obviously not an ugly person, why would somebody say something like that? Because they're afraid of you speaking truth, so they're trying to sidetrack you. People and their freaking manipulations and their basic distractions, right? Another reason why people yell at you and talk over you is because they have no respect for you as a person. Yeah, and I get into it, people like that. A lot of times when I think I'm about to get into a fight, the other person that starts off with words. I may say something crooked, or they may say something crooked, but words is words. And we know that once you leave the plateau of words, you're going somewhere. Escalation. Yeah, people like to escalate situations, right? And then people are always, it's usually the other person who want to throw out some sort of threat, like they going to do something, and I do this, I do that. And I tell them, like, shoot, let's do it. Would you really want me to do this? I'm like, dude, I'm trying to do whatever you try. You let me know. And I tell people, like, you let me know what you're trying to do. I'm doing whatever you doing. I'm saying the same thing you saying. You let me know. And you know what this all be because? It's because they want to win the situation, but they ain't got no respect for you. So they ain't got no problem threatening you with physical violence, right? And then when they see that you with the violence, then they try to chill out, or they try to say, just forget it, just forget it, just forget it. You know how people realize that they wrong? Instead of apologizing, they just try to dead the situation. And then that's when I tell them, like, look, don't try to end this now because you wrong. And plus, I ain't finished saying what I need to say. And then I go back to saying what I need to say. And people like to do this yelling and screaming. Another reason why is because some folks are just trash people. Like imagine living a life where you go around just disrespecting people on a regular basis, yelling and hollering and calling folks out their name, threatening folks. That's a wickedness. That's evil. It's wicked. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, to want to see somebody else upset, some people will sit up here and play mind games, or they start rumors, or they try to tell people certain information that they know is not good. Yeah, they try to tell people, like, I'm gonna tell this person this. Why would you tell that person that you know that's gonna upset that person? Blah 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 blah. I like to see how people react to things. You're a wicked person. You go around yelling and hollering and screaming, making a scene. Especially when I'm in public. Now I tell people, like, look, you need to shut up. Because you up here, me and you was having words, and then You got scared, or for some reason you thought that you was gonna punk me or intimidate me. Now here you are doing all this yelling in the middle of the self checkout at the grocery store. Now everybody's looking at both of us. I'm like, this fool is yelling, not me. Heck yeah. People like, what's the problem? The problem is this fool's yelling. Shoot. But you said this. I was talking to you like this. When I said what I said, I was talking to you as a man. Man to man, I was talking to you. I start talking to you, you start doing all this freaking yelling. Now you causing a scene. That's on him. He don't know how to behave himself. And that's what these raggedy people do. Right? Another reason why people yell and talk over you is because of lack of self-control, which has to do with them being aggressive. Like a lot of people think that if they be the first ones to get aggressive, then that will win them the situation. Well, people had different victories when it comes to situations, especially words. Because I've been in fights before. Most of us been in fights. And you think about it, especially when you're a grown man or a grown woman. Like, hold on, me and this person just got physical, but it was all over words, though. You get what I'm saying? Ain't that crazy how that go? Now, people are aggressive and people have anger issues, and they think that if you say or do something to them, that gives them full permission for them to wild out and snap. And then when you don't snap with them, that's when they usually start with the physical violence. And then when you say, okay, we can squad, then they start trying to either go crazy or crazier. But a lot of folks don't do nothing. Yeah. So another reason people yell and talk over you is because Another reason people yell over you and talk over you is because they own drugs or they need to be on drugs. I know what it's like going through withdrawal. That withdrawal have your rage and your perception all messed up. And some people be going through withdrawal. Other people, they probably got mental issues where drugs actually help them. I'm not an advocate for drugs, even though I do, well, yeah, even though I'm quitting drugs, I do drugs, I'm quitting drugs, right? I'm not an advocate for drugs. Yes, I told somebody recently that I need to quit smoking. He's like, don't quit. I said, dude, some things you need to quit and some things you don't need to quit. And I just shook my head and walked off. And I'm like, that's crazy, dude. But yeah, drugs. Yeah, drugs have people tripping. And just because if you do drugs and you do your drugs, you know how to operate, that's cool with you. But if you're not doing some other drug that another person may do, you don't know how that's going to affect that person. Some people handle alcohol differently. Some people smoke meth, crack. Some people shoot substances. You know what I'm saying? Like people be on stuff, you know? And that's another reason why people be yelling and talking over you because they can't control their emotions due to drugs. Other people is not drugs. Other people just have no self-control because they're trash people who haven't grown up. You see, Scripture says what Paul said. It said, look, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I thought as a child. I behaved as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. I spoke as a man. I behaved as a man. Everybody has bad days. And everybody has a line where they say, look, you cross this line, then it could be war. Yeah, it could be war. It could be me versus you if you cross certain lines. But these people who like to yell and talk and yell over you and all this other stuff, they just trash people who have no self-control. And maybe that's gotten them places. But I highly doubt that though. Because birds of a feather flock together, right? So if you one of those yelling, get loud every time you offended type of people, you do realize that the only people you will ever have in your life is people who act like that too. You'll never get to hang around somebody else who's successful or peaceful or happy or knowledgeable or somebody who has a decent amount of self-control. You can't hang around them people because we're grown. Folks is fed up with folks. The older you get, the less bull stuff you want to deal with. And maybe it's you get older and you get soft. But I highly doubt that. It's just that a lot of things, even situations that you get into with people, it don't matter unless you're offended. It don't change tomorrow. Like, man, if you think about the last time you had an issue with somebody, yeah, most of the time it'd be a stranger. Most of the time you can't remember their face after 2 weeks. Like that one person who offended me, I can't remember what they look like. You see, that's how that goes. And another reason why people yell and talk over you, I'm trying to figure. I think I'm missing like 2 or 3 reasons. I had a decent amount of them. Well, I'm gonna go with this one. It's because they think that they're smarter than you. Some people think that they're smarter than you, so they should have the floor, right? And then there's a good old fashioned, I'm gonna say what I need to say to piss this person off. But that don't work against people who are honest. You think I really care what other people think about me? If I have an issue with you, I don't care what anybody else think, but that's what people try to go this. I'm gonna make you look stupid. How you gonna make me look stupid? How? You make me look stupid. I want to see it. I say exactly what I say to you, and I say it to somebody else. And another thing I was just thinking about before I shot this video, I was just thinking about how when I have an issue with somebody else, and another person tries to jump in on behalf of the other person, I tell folks to mind their business. Yeah. You ever had an issue with one person, another person try to jump in and sound like, look, you stay up out of this between me and nah, that's my brother. That's my nah, you mind your business, homie. Because I'll address both of y'all. Yeah. And if it be an issue, it be an issue. Yeah. So what do? You speak up. So when I have issues with people and they try to yell and talk over me, I just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. But I don't really go to the yelling point. Because by the time I go to the yelling point, my voice changes. When I'm angry, my voice turns to yeah. My angry voice, you wouldn't even think that I would ever sound like that. I don't be impressed. I be kind of worried about it. When I get pissed off, I be so close to snapping. Folks be having no idea, right? And then a lot of times folks try to tell you, why don't you just leave? Why don't you? Because I'm in the middle of something and you keep cutting me off. That's why I'm not leaving. It's like, why don't you just leave? Why don't you? Because you keep cutting me off. Why you keep repeating yourself? Because you keep cutting me off. That's why. So if you willing to go to a certain length to get through to people, just say what you need to say and then you get up out of there. You don't have to sit up here and win a situation with everybody. You don't. That's what people do. They try to overtalk you. They try to yell at you just like a winning situation. You say those few things that you need to say, and then you chuck deuces. I love having an issue with somebody, and they can have the final word. Oh yeah, let people have the final word. Just make sure that you say what you need to say if that's what you need to say. Because very well, you can have a situation with somebody, right? And then you could walk off thinking, I should have said this, I should have said that. And then sometime later, it could be later on that night, the next day, it could be a week later. You're like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't say nothing to that fool. Because that's what people be. They be fools. Dang. Yeah, so I end up getting mad anyway. Right? Yeah, but people talk over you for very basic reasons because they want to win in situations. Oh, yeah, another reason why is they try to intimidate you and punk you. That's why people get loud. They try to intimidate you and punk you. Or another reason why is that people feel threatened by you. Yeah, I used to not believe. I used to be one of those people, man. People say that we're animals. I'm like, nah, we're made in the image of God. But if you understand the way people behave and the way they operate most of the time in these days, a lot of folks do behave off of primal instinct. That's animalistic, right? So a lot of folks, they be intimidated or threatened by you, so they get loud because they're scared. Because, you know, a lot of times, and especially in situations like that, anger is just fear. It is. Anger is just fear. And the fear comes from not feeling like you're in control or feeling that you might lose or feeling threatened. So some folks, they yell and get loud with you. Yeah, especially if a man does it, it's most likely a small man complex. If a female gets loud and cuss with you, it's because she's a female. She doesn't fear any physical repercussions. Yeah, but people love to do that when they feel threatened. People love to get loud. And then a lot of people, they get loud so they could draw attention to the situation so they could get saved by other people. Because some people act like they want to fight and then they realize that the fight's about to go down. They punk out last minute. Right. So a lot of times folks cut you off and yell at you is for all the reasons that I listed. I know this video is 14 minutes long and it shouldn't have been this long. Yeah, hey, my time management is trash. A lot of times when I shoot these videos, I think, okay, I thought this video is going to be like 8 minutes. When I watched, I'll see if I did too much off-track stuff. But it doesn't matter, though. I think this video is complete, man. This video is important because I've been dealing with this a lot in my life. And I see other people get yelled at and talked to. And another reason why people yell and talk to you crazy because they can have mental issues. Some people are just not straight in the head, right? Another reason why people yell at you and talk to you is they think that you're a punk and you won't stand up for yourself, right? And another reason why people yell at you and talk to you crazy is because they're used to saying crazy things and being ignored, so they expect you to ignore them. And then when you don't ignore them, and then they try to intimidate you, bully you, or threaten you, and then you say, all right, we could do it. Some people are like, man, you want to step outside? I'm already going outside when I check out. Let's do it. Yeah, come on. Shoot, I'm doing what you let me know. That's why I tell people, like, you let me know. Another thing I tell people, they be like, you want me to do this, man? I'll put hands on you. I'll beat you. I'm like, shoot, do whatever you see fit. Do whatever you feel you need to do. Whatever it is that you feel you need, you do that. You let me know, right? And a lot of folks just expect you not to stand up for yourself, and they expect you not to address them on things because most people wouldn't. So a lot of folks who be on bull stuff and start all this aggression and yelling and trying to talk down to you, intimidate you, they just used to getting away with it because nobody wants to waste their time on them. How pathetic. And that's what it is though, man. And they talk about it. They tell you in elementary school, these people who drag you down to their level and they do this dirty mud wrestling with you. You don't want to be down there with them. And that's true. You don't want to be down there with them. But if you feel like you need to stick up for yourself or stand up for yourself, if you have an issue with somebody and you got to speak your piece, then you do that regardless of the consequences. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. My rice and beans is burning. Outro.